Hi, I'm Tina O'Dwyer, founder of the Tourism Space and host of the Better Tourism Business Network. We've recently just opened membership of the Better Tourism Business Network. It's a new space for tourism professionals around the world to connect, to share, to learn and to support each other. And in this article, I wanted to share with you where the inspiration for the Better Tourism Network came from. It came from the Recovery Room Huddle, which was an online meeting platform that kind of happened almost by accident when COVID-19 hit in March 2020. In this video, I'm going to kind of talk through four things. One is how it came about. The second is how it worked. The third is what we talked about, what we did in the huddle. And finally, what kind of benefits and value kind of realized themselves that we can take forward from here. So the first thing is how it came about in the first place. It was the second week of March 2020 when COVID-19 really hit us here where I am in Ireland. And that was the week during which the tourism and hospitality businesses in particular had to shut their doors. Very suddenly, very dramatically, in a very panicked kind of way, and without really very much warning or anticipation that that was going to happen. It might have been another week to 10 days before other businesses and the general lockdown came about. But in that week or so, that week of 10 days, it was absolute panic, and my heart really went out to the people I know and support and work with in tourism over the last number of years. And I felt really helpless, and I really wanted to help. And the only thing I felt I could do was to listen to people or speak to people. And so I just put a link out on Zoom and said, would you like to hop on a Zoom call and let's talk about what's happening, let's listen to each other. And people took that opportunity, I guess, at that time. And originally in that first couple of weeks, we met 4 times a week, every evening, and we were just literally processing what had happened during the day, downloading it. Somebody said in the huddle one of the evenings that, you know, what was true this morning wasn't necessarily true this evening, and we all know what that was like. So in the beginning, it was just reacting to what was happening. And then as we settled into our lockdown, we kind of picked a topic at the start of every session, and I might give a 5 or 10 minute introduction to that topic, and then we would open it up to general conversation and kind of organic discussion. So that was kind of how it flowed. There were very few rules other than everybody was allowed to talk but nobody had to, that it was perfectly okay to listen, that we would enter the huddle in a spirit of sharing and openness, and also that nobody was there to represent their company or their organisation. We were all there in a personal capacity. So what did we huddle about? Well, it varied. As I said in the beginning, it was very much about processing what had happened during the day. Then it became a lot of very practical things like, where are you getting your PPE? How are you communicating with your visitors? What do we do about our staff? What are the government supports? Those were some of the things. And then after that, it could have been any number of things. We sometimes discussed very big topics like motivation or mindset. Sometimes it was about particular business strategies. We had an occasional guest speaker who could bring their particular angle or expertise, and members within the group also shared their expertise, and that was very useful. What was also brought great richness to the huddle was that we had people from every sector of tourism. So we had business owners, we had people who worked in businesses but didn't own them, we had people from agencies and local authorities, and some even from the national authorities as well, and we had some consultants who brought varying elements of expertise. So that was great to have the fully rounded type of experience. There was also a lot of organic networking in the huddle. Real relationships were formed between people who had never actually met and had just met through that 1 hour in the evening once or twice a week on the huddle. And offline, outside of the huddle, quite a few business deals and business relationships, really tangible projects took off. There's a number of benefits, I guess, to the huddle. One of the things I realised was that almost by accident, we had created a space where any competitive mindset had evaporated, where people were really willing and able to share their experience and their expertise and really wanting to support and motivate each other. So that was really important. But I did ask those who had taken part to complete a survey when we took a break at the end of July, and it was remarkable what people named as their benefits. Remarkable in the sense that it was really unanimous that the number one thing that people within the industry were valuing was that connection, and having a safe space and an open space where they could talk and listen. That in itself was the number one value people were bringing from the huddle, and it's what made them come back week after week. The other things people mentioned was they really valued hearing the experience of other people in the industry, and they also really valued the expertise that was brought by the guest speakers. The other thing people really named as a benefit was that it made them feel less alone, and it made them feel less vulnerable. and that being part of the huddle and part of the conversation really helped with their mindset and their perspective. And that was something really, really important. Manny mentioned as well the humour and the sense of fun that they were able to get through engaging with other people, even in very, very difficult circumstances. Working in tourism and hospitality can be a very lonely place, even before COVID, but particularly heightened during COVID. And I think creating those spaces where people can connect is vitally important and something that we should not overlook. The other thing we took from the huddle is that amazing levels of leadership and entrepreneurship and resilience were shown by people throughout COVID on the front line who had to pivot and adapt in order to just survive. And the space that had opened up allowed us to shine a light on that, but it allowed everyone to value it and to learn from it, to imitate it, and to, boost what they were doing themselves through the leadership and entrepreneurial skills of others. And so that is the inspiration behind the Better Tourism Business Network. I want to create and hold spaces, not just through the huddle. Yes, there is a huddle involved, but there are also other ways for us to connect and learn with each other. But to hold and create that space where we can lean into each other for strength and support, where we can draw on each other for motivation and for inspiration, and where we can count on each other for perspective and even a bit of humour, and generally where we can learn to do the everyday things a little bit better. If you're interested in being part of a learning, sharing and networking community online, then do have a look at thetourismspace.com/tourism network to find out all the details about the membership and also to avail of a free trial membership as well. Thank you.